Hey there, this is Michael with the general reading for Aries Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the month of June 2020. I hope that this video finds you well, whether you're watching it for yourself or maybe cross-watching for another individual with Aries placements. I do want to thank all of you who have supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. Of course, your support is always appreciated and it does help this channel grow and allows me to keep putting out these messages for all of you. I do also apologize that these videos are coming out a little bit late. Some of you may have gleaned on my other social media that I am currently participating in some of the protests and, engaging in some activism in that way. And I know that might surprise some of you, but I actually do feel like a lot of light workers and a lot of people who are spiritual are actually going to be called out to really help this shift and really give their energy during this time. I think it's actually really, really important. We're kind of living in this shift right now that we've been talking about for so long, and it's really important to listen to your heart and really ask yourself where you feel like you're supposed to be. Obviously, the energy right now is pretty intense, and there's actually a lot of things that are happening astrologically this month. We have 2 eclipses, 6 retrograde planets, as well as a major conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter right at the end of this month on the 30th. So there is too much to really go in depth to in here in this video. I have provided a blog post for the astrology for June 2020. You can find that link down below. I personally find those blog posts super helpful because I write out all the aspects and the transits, the dates that they occur, and I'll actually refer to my own blog throughout the month. So I personally find it helpful. I hope all of you do as well. I think it just helps me really kind of get a feel for the readings for this month as well. But that is available, and because of kind of this heavy energy that we're going to be moving through, I'm also going to be offering a 25% off discount on Reiki sessions if you use the code ECLIPSE at checkout. And Reiki can be really helpful if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you feel like you just kind of need a boost. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. So that is available to all of you. I hope that helps some of you, or I hope some of you might even just consider Reiki and doing some more energy healing on yourself as well. I personally have found it very helpful in periods of transition in my own life too. And I think that's pretty much everything. Again, all the links are down below if you have any questions. I do want to shuffle and see what comes up for you here, Aries. And as I'm doing that, I just want to give my friendly reminder that this is a general reading, meaning not all of the messages that come forward are going to be meant for you specifically. It is up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your own life and what should be left behind for somebody else. If this video still doesn't really resonate, or you just like greater clarity on something, you are more than welcome to take a look at the at your moon, rising, or Venus sign. Sorry about that. If you don't remember or don't know what those are, I do have the natal chart calculator down below that should be able to help you find out. And I have all the cards here on the table to start off. We're actually starting off very strong with the Emperor showing up as your main energy. This is actually your card, Aries, so this is really great to see. We do have the 7 of Cups in the reverse, and also a 2 of Cups, which is very, very nice. Some of you might actually be, some of you are actually coming closer together with someone you are romantically involved with, or someone who's just very close to your heart. I actually feel like there was this weird error, or maybe this miscommunication or misconception between the 2 of you, and if you're feeling like there's kind of bad blood between you and somebody else and you're not quite sure what to do about it, I think just opening up and being very authentic and expressing yourself from your heart could really help clear the air, and you might realize that one of you had the story wrong, or one of you just wasn't seeing things very clearly. And it's important to keep engaging through this sort of like check-in period throughout the month, especially as we have Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Cancer. I think a lot of people are going to be pretty hypersensitive this month. They might be really, clouded by emotions. That's possible, and it's just really important to kind of keep that in mind. We do also have an eclipse that's going to be happening on the 5th as well as the 21st, and that eclipse, the first one, is a Sagittarius full moon, and that's going to be, it's really going to be about opening your mind and kind of seeing a culmination of some spiritual practices that you've been working on. And I think if you've been brainstorming a lot of ideas for what it is that you want to do, how it is you want to go forward in your life, I actually think you're going to kind of be narrowing down a few of your options, and things are going to be becoming a lot more clear for you, which is really, really good. And honestly, Aries, you're looking pretty strong here as this Emperor. I'm definitely liking this. And it seems like somebody else is liking your energy a lot as well with this Two of Cups. There could be a new relationship for some of you that is either blossoming, or maybe a new a commitment, or just a deepening of an existing relationship. Whatever the case, it seems like there's something really nice that's happening here. Things are clearing up. You're really stepping into your energy, and it seems like you're also relating to people very well, at least in the first half of June here. I do want to pull an animal card just to see what they have to say. Tarantula. So this is interesting because it's like you're shedding a skin, you are growing, you might be losing some options here. At the start of the month, it might feel like things are kind of being lost, but it's actually because you're outgrowing things, and they weren't a match to you, especially being this Emperor. I actually feel like some of you might be making a change in your career, especially if you're thinking about starting your own business, or coming into a managerial position, or kind of a higher up position here. And it feels like there might be some possibilities that feel like are closing to you right now, but that's actually okay. Because you're moving to something that's actually more conducive for you. I feel like you were kind of in a brainstorming phase before, and now things are really being refined, really narrowing in on what it is that you actually want. Because tarantula, even though it's an arachnid like spider, it's not just going to wait for things to come to it. It does feel things out. It is covered in these little hairs all over its body, so it is very sensitive to its environment. It's very intuitive, very hyper aware, but it's an ambush predator, so it is going to go after what it wants. And I'm really seeing that with this Empress or Emperor energy. And also with this Two of Cups, you might actually be walking up to someone, or really just being like, hey, I like you, to somebody. Maybe asking them out. And it seems like it's looking pretty good. You know, you're looking pretty favorable right now. And I do feel like some of these options that you lost, I almost feel like they were sort of backup plans, or things that you could always come back to. You know, it was part of your comfort zone. You always kind of assumed these things would be there. These options would always be available to you. You might have outgrown them, but that's not a bad thing. You didn't really lose anything. And things are actually becoming clearer as a result of it. So what else do we have for Aries? What else do we have for Aries? Let's look at the second half of June now. High Priestess in reverse. Some of you are having a hard time trusting your intuition or figuring out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And that makes a lot of sense, especially as we're going towards the middle and end of the month. We have Mercury going retrograde. We have a lot of planets that are going to be entering Cancer, and it's going to be kind of an emotional period, more reflective. Knight of Cups, yeah, it is important for you to really follow your heart and to keep connecting to your intuition. But I feel like it's kind of a slower pace, especially as with you showing up as this Emperor. You might want things to happen like right now, or you wanted them to happen yesterday. And this whole year has just been a huge lesson in patience for a lot of people, hasn't it? But I think for you, specifically, this is a question of faith and how willing you are to go forward in times of uncertainty, or trust in your dreams, trust in your visions. Whoa, a lot of stuff here. Okay. Let's try that again. What are the messages for Aries? There we go. Page of Wands, your creativity is returning to you in June, especially towards the end of the month, or the second half of June here. And that could have something to do with that new moon in Cancer. You know, you could be getting some new creative energy coming in. And again, you know, I feel like you are coming out of a period of confusion. Maybe this reason... The reason you're doubting your intuition is because you thought something was very clear before, and you kind of had this illusion sort of shattered. And now you're like, oh, well, maybe I can't trust my intuition. Maybe I shouldn't trust this. Maybe I'm wrong about other things too. We do have Neptune that is going to be going retrograde in this month. I think that's around the 25th. And that's in the sign of Pisces. And when Neptune goes retrograde, especially in Pisces, there can be that sort of rude awakening where you're kind of pulled out of a dream world, and it's just like kind of that dose of reality. It might feel a little harsh in the moment, but it's actually kind of a good thing, because Neptune is a malefic planet, and its influence can often add to confusion, and we could easily be misled when Neptune is going direct. So even though right when it goes retrograde, we can kind of be slapped in the face with something that may have been misleading, or ways that we may have misled ourselves, ultimately it allows us to make clearer decisions. And I feel like you're still figuring out what is right for you. You're still intuiting this here. But I feel like, again, there's this thing with romance, actually, with this Knight of Cups. I feel like this is actually going to be a good month for love and relationships for you, especially if you are interested in a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or even another Aries, or a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius. But it's like, don't necessarily rush into anything right now. It's kind of like waiting for the perfect time to strike. And you're really going to have to listen to that. And honestly, for some of you, it might not even be in the month of June. Let's kind of pull another animal card and kind of clarify this, and then we'll pull one more oracle card for you as well. But I do feel like creatively, with this Page of Wands, you have a lot of potential. Even if it feels like you've lost options, there's still a lot that you actually can do. So we have Buffalo, moving forward with faith. I love this. Buffalo is a very spiritual energy, but it's also very grounded. It sinks right into the earth, but it has these horns that are reaching up to the heavens. And when we look at this specific buffalo, there's this lightning bolt. But it doesn't look phased. It still keeps going forward. It still has this trust. It's not phased by whatever tests are being thrown at it. And with the Stingray card, it is kind of moving through the current, going with the flow here. And that might feel a little uncomfortable, actually, but it's part of this growth. There is this decision that you need to make Aries, and I feel like you are making it, you are committing to it, where you're supposed to be doing something new and kind of letting go of the old and the familiar. We were talking about that with the Seven of Cups in reverse as well. You kind of figured something would always be an option or always be available to you, and either it falls away or you're just realizing, no, I can't go back to this, I can't keep doing this. And now you're really following this passion. And it's exciting, but it might not be happening super quickly, and it might feel easy to second guess yourself, but give it a chance. I think it's kind of part of the test, like, are you really committed to living this way, to living in your alignment? So that's really, really interesting. And this is just a major month for revelation. Maybe a lot of this is just becoming clear for you. What's the Oracle card for Aries here? Things are a little quiet. Maybe that's why you're second guessing yourself. It's like you're answering the call and you're like, wait, why is nothing happening? The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time. Some of you are actually just going through a spiritual awakening. And it's like, if it feels like not a lot is happening, it's almost like you're just being given time to integrate these spiritual downloads here with this blue flame activation. And some of you are really needing to learn to trust your intuition more. And with the High Priestess in reverse, I actually am perceiving this as something being revealed, because oftentimes the High Priestess upright, it's a message of things will be revealed in time. But I think you're uncovering a lot in June. And you're uncovering the things that are actually going to serve you and be good for you, and what it is that you really want. You're narrowing things down. And, you know, for some of you that is a relationship, but I actually feel like this is more about your life path in general. So let's read this card, the Blue Flame. This is a card of awakening and energetic upgrades. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. In the West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening, and it can feel very scary when we're going through it alone. Elsewhere, they can be seen as auspicious experiences, with those going through them being treated with tender care. The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, activating a physical kundalini awakening and deep cellular and DNA healing. Many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world, definitely. This isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate, and awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded. If you're in the midst of an awakening, the process never ends. Treat this time as sacred, and give yourself ample space to ground and integrate the extreme changes you're going through. And that also makes sense that you're having buffalo come up. I actually feel like this is kind of a spirit animal for some of you this month, where if you're feeling ungrounded or unsure of yourself, you can kind of call in buffalo to help you stay grounded while maintaining the spiritual connection. I do also feel like, what else were we looking at here? There's something else that popped out at me. Yeah, and just receiving these visions, receiving this intuitive knowledge. I was talking about this in the blog. Whenever we have Mercury retrograde, sometimes the logistics get a little haywire, and kind of the left brain turns off, but the right brain actually activates, especially when it's in a water sign, which it is in Cancer. And with all of this Cancerian energy, there's a lot of intuitive downloads that people are going to be receiving and energetic upgrades. Some of you may really be able to refine and work with your psychic and intuitive abilities. If that is something that interests you, I highly, highly recommend doing a ritual on the new moon this month, which is around the 21st. That is also a solar eclipse. Those Cancer new moons are actually one of the most powerful times to open up your intuition, because Cancer rules over the moon, and a new moon is setting a new intention. So I feel like if you really do want to develop your intuition more, that's a great time to begin and kind of set that intention for yourself around that time. And I feel like you're just going to be receiving a lot of spiritual downloads this month, actually, and to kind of just allow those things to integrate. You might be sort of going on an unexpected path and you don't have all the answers and it feels like it's kind of going slowly. That's okay. Just kind of trust the pace, trust the rhythm here. Don't feel like you need to rush. It's slow and steady with Buffalo. And that might feel a little uncomfortable for you. And those are all the messages I'm getting for you right now, Aries. I do hope that this was helpful. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'd love to hear about the downloads and experiences you're already experiencing, and maybe throughout the month, in the comments section. I do have all of my links down below for the astrology blog, as well as my services. And again, if you'd like a Reiki session, you can get it for 25% off using the discount code ECLIPSE. Maybe that will help you open up your intuition or integrate the downloads that you're receiving. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Aries. Have a happy June.